So I had a very interesting idea for a video while I was filming another video. I want to tell my Transformers story. This is how I got into collecting Transformers. Figured this would be fun. Let's just get into it. So, just to preface, I was born in 1998. I am currently 23 years old. So a lot of what you're going to see is stuff from the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and we'll go from there. So, believe it or not, my very first Transformers figures that I got exposed to, and this shows, and I feel like this is validating the existence of things such as rescue bots. Some of my very first Transformers were ones like these. Ones like Mirage here. This is GoBots Mirage. Maybe thinking, oh, GoBots aren't Transformers. See that right there? That is an Autobot logo. Hasbro ended up buying the rights to GoBots and basically turned it into a kiddie line. And that's what we have right here. Didn't fully transform him. So this is Mirage. Believe it or not, they made Mirage into a very kiddie toy. And I still remember how to transform him. Just push his head. And his arms didn't dislodge. What are we doing? There we go. So yeah, that's how you transform him. There we go. Unfortunately, his batteries are dead. He used to press his steering wheel and he was like, go, 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 bots! Very annoying. But yeah, these were some of my first. I had some animal ones, some jet plane ones, like a bulldozer one, but Mirage was always one of my favorites for whatever reason. Always really liked Mirage. Funny thing is, though, he doesn't like fully flap together. Kind of would expect that, but he really doesn't. He just kind of has like, you know, a button there that fully presses it, but it still is kind of floppy. But yeah, these are actually some of my first. And believe it or not, as I grew up and got a little older, I started getting into more proper Transformers with Transformers Cybertron. This is my childhood scattershot. Now, the funny thing is, when I first started getting Cybertron figures, at the start, I mostly just got these like Scout Class basic ones. I don't think I got any deluxe. I got 1 liter class, which was Optimus Prime, I know, right? And I also got Primus. But I think my main Cybertron figures were Scattershot here, I got Clocker, and I also got Long Haul. Is that his name? His name I always struggle with. But you know, I think that was technically my brother's. But yeah, those were like my Cybertron figures growing up. And at first I was like, I want GoBots instead. I don't want these. But I very quickly learned to very much enjoy these. And it's actually funny, throughout the years, you know, I actually still kept most of these complete, which is funny. But yeah, I got some Cybertron stuff as a kid, and I really liked those. But the first Transformer I ever bought with my own money was, I want to say, Thanksgiving 2007. So that would have been like, what, 9? I got this. Deluxe Brawl. And since the last time you've seen him, I found his missile. So he is 100% complete again. So yeah, Deluxe Brawl. He was the first figure I ever wanted to buy. He's actually the only Transformer I ever really bought as a kid. I just had some money, and I had just seen the 2007 Transformers movie. I really wanted Bumblebee, but of course, if you know, Bumblebee was actually very hard to find for the original movie. So I settled for Brawl because he was my second favorite, because he's a big green tank robot, and I was really into G.I. Joe as a kid too. So obviously, pretty natural choice here. And I really love him. It's actually funny, though. I've unlocked a few secrets about my childhood toys. When I was a kid, I didn't know he had knee articulation, but he does. He can actually bend his knees. For whatever reason, I just never realized that. But yeah, I love this guy. I actually remember it was like a Crayola computer game. I actually closely looked at his head, and I drew his head in the Crayola game. I drew like one half of it, and I cloned it, and it made the full head. I was like, what, 9 or 10 when I did that, so really fond memories of Brawl there. So a few years went by. Transformers was pretty dormant in my life. But around 2010, a TV station called The Hub happened. If you don't know, The Hub was basically Hasbro's TV station. They played a lot of Hasbro brand stuff, a lot of things that kind of related to Hasbro, but they also played some other stuff. But they started playing G1, and I started watching it. And I really enjoyed it. And there was one character that really stood out to me. It's funny. I looked at him and I'm like, he's like an evil Optimus Prime, but he's all blue, and I love that, and his voice is cool. I loved Soundwave, so I made it my mission to get a Soundwave toy in 2010. I just wanted a Soundwave. I didn't want any others. I just wanted Soundwave. So I went to Toys R Us, and I just looked at the Transformers, paid basically no mind to absolutely any others. I was just out for Soundwave, and there he was. Generation Soundwave from War for Cybertron. I was like, he's not exact, but he's close enough. And honestly, at the time, I didn't really realize this was basically the best approximation of G1 Soundwave you could really get at the time, unless you wanted to import one from Japan. But yeah, good old War for Cybertron Soundwave. Loved this figure. He was kind of a one-off in my collection for a few years. Just a Transformer I bought that I liked. He was just kind of sitting on my random shelf. So he was one that kind of started the journey. I played with it a lot. I thought it was great. And I kept watching Transformers. And a show happened called Transformers Prime. And let me tell you, I loved it. I loved Transformers Prime, and I wanted toys from Transformers Prime. So, of course, naturally, being a Soundwave fanboy, Soundwave was the first one I had to go after. For some reason, my Soundwave, the visor's gone gold on me. I don't know why. It's gone gold on me. But I don't know. I actually think it looks pretty cool. I'm not bothered to change it and to fix it. I mean, it would just take a little bit of black Sharpie and it would be fine. But I don't know. I actually like that it's gold now. It's almost like it's my prestige. It's my original Soundwave. If I get another one, it won't have the gold visor like this. I have no idea why it went gold, but there we go. But yeah, Soundwave. It's actually funny. I was probably a little too old to be doing this. It was what? Geez, like 2012 when I got this guy. So, geez, I would have been 13 at the time, I think. I don't think I would have turned 14 yet, so I would have been 13 years old. I brought this guy into IHOP with my family, and I was just transforming him in the restaurant. I think it's the last time I've ever done that. But, I don't know, man, it was so new to me, a Transformer. And I was just, it was like the second one I'd bought in a few years, and I was fiddling around with it, and I'm like, man, really like this. I really, really do. I want more. So I ended up getting more Transformers Prime. I got RID Optimus and Megatron, Bumblebee, and Wheeljack all in one day. That was what we called when we were kids our tax return splurge. If you're an American, you know. You know, especially if you were a kid and your parents got some tax return money and they're like, hey, want to get something? Yeah, that was my tax return splurge for 2012 was 4 Transformers from Kmart, of all places. So yeah, I got him, but then it spiraled real quick. This is really when it started, I think. This is when I started becoming a collector. Right then, when I got those 4 figures, I was like out to get characters and to expand my collection. And that quickly also went to the movies, because obviously I watched the movie, the original one, but I actually missed the second and third. I ended up watching the third one and the second one later. But the Dark of the Moon toys were in stores at the time, and I got myself my very first movie Bumblebee. Obviously, if you remember, I wanted a movie Bumblebee very badly, so getting this Dark of the Moon Deluxe was very satisfying. It filled a hole in my soul, and to this day I still love this figure, really, really do. I also got Optimus Prime, the Voyager, absolute garbage. I ended up getting others from Dark of the Moon, like Megatron. I remember one day I specifically went to Kmart just to get Barricade, or no, I think what it was, my brother went to Kmart with my mom. It was just them. I stayed home, and I'm like, do they have Barricade? Do they have Barricade? And he's like, yes, they have Barricade. We'll get it for you. And I'm like, yes! Because I stayed home to work on school or something. But yeah, started getting some movie stuff. But then my collection very quickly started to switch over to what I think a lot of us know as the classics, the generations. I found some of the old Reveal the Shield stuff at like places like Tuesday Morning and TJ Maxx. I found some Generations stuff, and I'm like, this stuff's really cool. I found like Cup and Warpath, but that quickly turned into getting things like this. This is what, Henkei Hound? Yeah, I started going online for Transformers. Started, looking at Cybertron.com and looking at all the ones they've made and like making a list. I had a massive want list of all of these characters from various Transformers eras. It was a massive list. It was huge. And it slowly but surely dwindled down as I kept growing my collection. My brother found awesome lots for me. I got cool ones like Henkei Hound here. And as I kind of expanded my collection, I started going to more local places. One was called Game Swap. It was in the Tri-County Mall. Rest in peace, that entire mall, by the way. But I found awesome stuff like this Nemesis Prime, and it was really cool to expand my collection with really unique figures like this. I also started getting some Beast Wars stuff at GameSwap. I started getting animated stuff, and let me tell you, Transformers animated. I don't have any to show here, but I basically have a complete collection. Like, basically have all the characters. I love Transformers animated. And honestly, finding, different alcoves of Transformers in places like that is a huge reason why I am super into it now. But as it went along, actually see a little peek on the side there of another one. As it went along, I just kept going and going, and basically from there, I kept buying older figures to fill holes. And I also, I'm just going to grab one off the side here, I kept buying the new ones. And obviously, this Kingdom Sideswipe is very new. I stayed very up to date with Transformers. I would say I started really staying up to date with the Thrilling 30 collection. That's when I was like, okay, I'm all in. I'm all in, baby. I am going to get all these. The Fall of Cybertron line, too, I got a lot of. But I want to say, like, 2013, 2014, that's when I really started getting into it. I got, like, almost all of them. I got, Age of Extinction stuff. I got those Thrilling 30. When Combiner Wars came out, I was all in on Titan's Return. I wasn't all in. I didn't get absolutely everything. I did start to pick and choose, and I do feel like as it went along, I started to become more selective. I didn't get absolutely everything just for the sake of getting everything. And that's actually shown with some things I've gotten rid of over the years. Because, once you get as many Transformers as me, you start like, I don't really need that version or that version, you start thinning out the fat a little bit. You start cutting out the fat. But, like I said, I've kept up to date. I haven't just been buying Generation stuff. Also, more recent, I've been getting things from Cyberverse. I didn't get a lot from Robots in Disguise. That show was not that good. I actually still haven't watched the Cyberverse movies. I've heard they're great. I have them in my Watch Later playlist on YouTube. I still haven't watched them. I know, I'm the worst. But I got like all the deluxes from Cyberverse. I got a couple Warriors and a couple Ultra classes. Really fun line. Really cool and awesome cartoon, honestly. I've really enjoyed Transformers collecting. And it's honestly, in a way, it's gotten out of control because I have so many now. I have like probably 2,000 at this point. I have a lot. Now, granted, saying I have 2,000 also includes a little like knick-knack things. Like, let me see if I can just grab one and just grab something. Like, here, 2,000 also will include little things like Spy Changers, frickin' Scourge from RID, or like a little bot shots, things like that. Like, I count all those because they're still like unique pieces to the collection. But nowadays, that want list that I had that was super, super long, it's funny, that want list of specific figures that I've wanted has gone down to Nemesis Breaker from Transformers Cybertron and a G1 Breakdown. That's it. Those are the only two on that list from older lines that I specifically want, that I am actively searching for. That's it. Now, granted, because of that, and I still love Transformers collecting, I have reached a point where I am going back and getting some more obscure and interesting figures. For example, Revenge of the Fallen Hoist. This is one that I'm really happy to have. The toy department in Fairfield, Ohio, unlike GameSwap still existing, has been an amazing fuel to the fire. I've gotten so many Transformers for them. And another example of odd ones that I've been getting, while I don't have a lot from this line, say for example, I've got an X-Brawn from RID, the old RID, more recently. So as you can see, while it's not necessarily per se on my want list, it's not like, oh, I need X-Brawn from this cartoon that I've never even watched yet. Emphasis on yet. I'll get to it in probably like 10 years. Yeah, my collection is really expanded, and nowadays I really enjoy the uniqueness of Transformers and the diversity of the toys. I have an entire shelf full of over 100 Optimus Primes, but there's only like one instance of a shared mold. And that's, I have the Dark of the Moon Deluxe, and I have the Age of Extinction Silver Knight version of that. It's because it's shiny chrome, and I like that. Other than that, each Optimus Prime is entirely unique from one another. That's what I love about Transformers collecting. There's so many diverse options. There's so many different ways to accomplish the same thing. And honestly, Transformers, just at a fundamental level of how the toys are, is really innovative and really kind of teaches us important lessons. I know I'm getting deep here, but I love Transformers not only because it's cool, not only because the toys are fun, but because they're 3-in-1 too. It's an action figure, an alternate mode, say a car or a plane, and a puzzle. Transformers make you think. You transform them, you mess with them, and you're like, wow, how did they do that? Or this is really clever. Or this goes together really well. And it kind of makes you think of different ways to accomplish different tasks, even in your everyday life. Like, how many movie Optimus Primes do I have? And how many of them transform in totally different ways? Totally different designers thought of different ways to do the exact same thing, and each one is so unique. And that's what I really love about Transformers. Now, granted, sure, I have repaints. I have the long arm repaint of this hoist. I actually had that first. I have like 3 different versions of this Classics Optimus Prime mold. I have Prime, Nemesis, and Ultra Magnus. I have the Cyberfire Bumblebee. That's actually the video that spawned this. I have like 4 different versions of that Brawl. I have repaints. Don't think I don't. I have how many different versions of this Sideswipe? But it's the diversity of them all. Like, each toy not only has its own experience, but also in a way can have its own story. Like, that one's hard, that one's easy. That one has a really cool trick to it. That one's a total stinker. Each one, it's not just like, a standard action figure. Like, I'm not dissing Marvel Legends or Black Series or anything, but this also will kind of explain why I don't really collect those too much. Now, granted, yes, I still have plenty of those, but I don't have a massive full collection. I'm really picky. I pick and choose. But those, it's just, that's a good action figure. That's a good action figure. That's an action figure of that character. That's a figure of that character. That's a figure of that character. But Transformers, they're so different. Each one is so unique. And I think that's what's really kept me in it for so long. That's what's made this collection probably my most comprehensive, my most in-depth out of all of them. And I'm looking forward to another 10 years of Transformers collecting. Or am I going to put another 10 years worth of robots? I have no idea. I'm almost out of space. But looking at my collection and knowing this is what 10 years of Transformers is. 10 years of loving these toys and being totally dedicated to the brand. It really, it's special. It really is. There we go. That's my Transformers story. I would absolutely love to hear your Transformers story. I want to call out to other Transformers YouTube channels. I want to hear your Transformers story. I'm going to do this with other things too. I want to tell my story about how I got into things. Because I feel like this is just really special. This channel is more of like a vlog channel to me. I just talk about toys. I'm not trying to make the best content. I'm not trying to be number one. I'm trying to express myself. I want to share my story, my opinion, my collection. And 37,000 people want to watch it. It's really special, and I love it. I really want to hear your guys' stories. Please, either down in the comments or make a video. I implore you, I want to hear your Transformers stories. How you got into it, what cartoons got you into it. Like for me, Transformers Cybertron, I didn't stay up. I got up like an hour early just to watch it before school as a kid. That's why I have a complete collection of it. Besides Nemesis Breaker, still need Nemesis Breaker. That's why he's on that list. But yeah, man, there we go. I won't keep you any longer. Thank you all so much for watching. Special thanks to the patrons of Patreon. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you all so much. I do want to shout out Sparrow1115 for recommending my Cyberfire Bumblebee video that actually, in turn, inspired this video. I'm so shocked. I never thought to do this before now. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you watching 20 minutes of me just talking about my passion. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. I feel like saying it. Till all are one.